that just changed, I think, the mindset
Yep.
of people across the world about I don't know, kind of just isolating themselves. And it's as we talked before the show, if we could get rid of the word fear,
Yeah.
people just would not live their lives in fear. What a different world we'd have. What different lives people would have.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I am so interested to hear your stories about how dogs, because we see it in our practice. You bring a dog in, or you bring
Yeah.
a kitten in, a chicken, a pig. I mean, we brought all kinds of animals in, and it's so interesting how people open up
Oh,
to
yeah.
an animal.
Yeah, no, and particularly dogs, because they have such personalities and they're so loyal. And we don't train emotional support dogs or therapy dogs. That's kind of a different level where we train specific skills to help someone with disability. But these dogs also serve as therapy dogs, as
Oh,
kind of a
it's a
secondary.
byproduct.
It,
Yeah.
it is, because they just love you, and they
Yeah.
want to make you happy, and they want to serve you, and they want to cuddle with you, and that just changes people in such a
Right.
good way.
Right. It's the loyalty factor, I
Yeah.
think, is, a lot of people have been hurt throughout their lives. Or, people have been abandoned, and just, life it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And it's just to have that companion that is always there, always glad to see you.
Yep. No matter what you do.
no matter what mistakes you make,
Yeah.
they still love you, and they're still just anxious to see and be with you. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it really is. There's a reason why they say man's best friend.
Yep.
Because they are so loyal.
Well, and we are really just learning in the last decade or two how much dogs can learn and how their brains work at a much higher level than what anybody realized, I'd say, a couple decades ago. And there's a lot of books out there on it. On the one's called The Genius of Dogs that I would recommend everybody read. But they can be taught more than what we thought they could be taught. And we see this as an organization where we'll have a client with a specific need that we've never had to deal with before. And our staff oftentimes can figure out a way to teach a dog something new to do to help solve that problem.
Oh, for a specific problem or a specific goal that needs to be done for a specific client.
Right. Yeah. So an example would be, we had a client with a seizure disorder, and she had implanted in her vagus nerve a magnet. And when the other half of that magnet was touched in just the right spot on the outside of her skin, her seizure would end. But of course, if she's having a seizure, she can't do that.
Right.
And unless somebody is with her who knows about that, she can't be alone and get the benefit of that. So her assistance dog was taught to have that in a certain place, pick up that magnet and put it exactly in the right spot to end her seizure.
No way.
And a dog figured that out and changed her life.
Really?
Yeah, it's so cool.
Oh my. Well, so we've been the limiting factor for dogs.
Right.
It's not the dogs. We just didn't realize how smart they were.
Yeah, right. So true.
Wow. So that must have been a great relief for her loved ones, or people that cared about her, to know that there's somebody there 24 hours a day. Wow. Would the dog recognize that a seizure was coming on, or how did the dog kind of know to grab the magnet?
So once she was in, she was seizing or having a seizure, the dog would know. I don't know in that situation whether the dog was getting cues before, but we do learn. So we do seizure response dogs, they're called. And what they generally do is, when their person is having a seizure, they do several things. They immediately put them in a position that is safe. Usually it's on their side, but it might be something different, and hold them there while they're seizing so they don't choke or hurt themselves. Obviously, they also go get help if they're in a place where they can get help, or they could push a button that calls someone.
Sure.
Maybe go get a bag that has, some sort of medical supplies. And then they know the particular way that specific person more quickly comes out of their seizure. It might be licking their face. It might be putting pressure on a certain part of their body, with the dog's body or the paw. And so they're there to keep the person more comfortable and safe. But what we have found is that some of the dogs, even though they're not taught this, get some sort of cue before the seizure comes on, whether it's a smell or whether it's a certain body movement, and they are able to actually do alert work before the seizure comes on.
Wow.
We haven't cracked the code yet of how to train a dog to do that, but we know they can because some dogs have figured it out themselves.
Wow. Oh, that's just fascinating.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, it's interesting how, just for that example with the vagus nerve, how technology, which is doing amazing things and it's leapfrogging, but how the technology by itself is not necessarily helpful if you don't have someone or something or some animal in this case to be able to respond with that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We see that too, a little different, but similar with type 1 diabetes clients. So, someone with type 1 diabetes, different from type 2, is it's very dangerous and you can go into a coma and die if somebody is not there and it's too late for you to figure it out yourself. And the technology is amazing, but our dogs are faster than the technology at alerting someone that they're having a blood sugar low based on the smell of your breath, and they can do it from across the room. And so we'll have clients all the time that will say, my dog came to me and started alerting me, and then a few minutes later, my technology did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to explore that more. We got to take a short break here, Jeff, but I want to explore that more about diabetes because that's just fascinating. Wow. All right. It's time for a short break, folks. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Jeff Johnson, the Executive Director at Can Do Canines, is here to share how assistance dogs are transforming people's lives. Since 1989, Can Do Canines has provided more than 900 assistance dogs to people with disabilities, all free of charge. If you have a question for Jeff, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
I'm Rachel Schroman, owner of Schroman Law, and I believe you deserve information. Our firm offers free quarterly estate planning seminars at our office in St. Paul. At these seminars, you can learn the basics of estate planning from an attorney to help you determine which estate planning documents will meet your needs and goals in an efficient and cost-effective manner. You can learn more and register at our website, schromenlaw.com/events. That's SCHROMEN law.com/events.
Hi, I'm Corey Wisco, president of the Welshire. The Welshire is a community that provides memory care to its residents, and we have a location in Bloomington and also another one that we just opened in Medina, Minnesota. But the big question is that why do people come to Welshire? Many of the people coming to Welshire are coming from other memory care communities where they maybe haven't received bathing, they've had problems taking medication, or inconsistency with staffing. Welshire has never used a temporary staff. We always have our own people, and it's those people that make the difference. We have always felt it so important to have 24-hour nursing in the building. The other thing is you have to have an amazing activity team. Nobody employs more activity people than Welshire. Our activities begin in the morning, go all the way through the evening, 7 days a week. So if you have a loved one that needs memory care, come visit WelshireMN.com and book a tour today.
Supporting the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities has never been easier. You'll find an expansive list of local dining options at eatlocalminnesota.com, from classic American comfort food to authentic flavors from around the world. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking cuisine, the Great Wall Chinese restaurant has been a local favorite since 1981. They offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include the sesame chicken, imperial beef, and Peking duck. The Great Wall restaurant is located off 45th and France, with takeout available too. More at greatwallrestaurant.us. Nightingale on 26th and Lyndale is the ultimate venue for unforgettable gatherings. Whether big or small, your event will be a hit with delicious food and drinks served in a warm and inviting atmosphere. Plus, Chef Carrie's special creations add that extra touch. Craft cocktails, curated drinks, and a diverse menu make Nightingale perfect for any celebration. More at nightingalempls.com.
Hello, everyone. I am Becky McNaughton along with Tara Martini, host of Feels Out Loud, brought to you by Becoming Together Therapy and Wellness. This Sunday, tune in as we talk through the 5 languages of anger and how these show up in relationships.
And if you have a question about anger, visit our website at www.becomingtogethermn.com or email us at contact@becomingtogethermn.com. We may share your questions on the show, so join us at 9 a.m. to live and share mental health together.
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today is Jeff Johnson, Executive Director at Can Do Canines. And he is here sharing how assistance dogs really can transform people's lives. Since 1989, Can Do Canines has been providing more than 900 assistance dogs to people with disabilities. And this is what amazes me, all free of charge. We'll have to talk about that here during the show. I don't understand how that happens because it takes a lot of effort to train dogs. But we're really excited to have Jeff here to talk about this amazing service that is right here in Minnesota. Jeff, how can our listeners contact you or your organization if they have questions or want more information?
So you can go to candocanines.org. And that's a pretty complete website that tells you who we are, talks about all the different volunteer opportunities. That is our greatest need. It will always be our greatest need is volunteers. And there's a lot of information. There's a way to apply right there. If somebody is interested in a dog as a potential client, or maybe knows somebody who they think could benefit from a dog, all that information's on there as well. You just apply online. There's a $50 application fee, but otherwise there's no charge for the dog after that. And just other information about events that we have. We have an open house coming up in a couple weeks. So
March 8th.
March 8th. 2 weeks from today, I believe that is.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great way to learn about us because it's very low pressure. You don't have to sit down and listen to a presentation for an hour. It's a way you walk around, you get to talk to clients. We have different clients at different stations with their dogs. We've got a volunteer area where if you might want to volunteer, you can go talk to a volunteer about what they do. And then we have demonstrations every few minutes about here's how we train dogs, or here's how you might benefit from a dog. And they actually have the dogs interacting. So it's just a fun day. And it's a couple hours from noon to 2. You can come for 10 minutes or 2 hours.
All right. So noon to 2 and March 8th. What day of the week is that?
That is Saturday. It's 2 weeks from today.
All right.
And it's at our facility in New Hope, which would be on the website.
New Hope. Okay. All right. You have one facility here?
We have a facility in New Hope, and then we have a facility out in New Germany, which is about 40 miles, maybe 30 miles west of the Twin Cities. We actually just purchased that a couple of years ago, and that's where we birth or whelp all of our puppies.
Oh, that's right. Because I understand you breed your own dogs then.
Correct.
In a sense.
Yep. Yeah, we've had our own breeding program for 10 or 12 years now. And so we still do get dogs donated to us on occasion.
Okay.
We still try to rescue a dog now and again, because that is the foundation of our organization. Obviously, rescue dogs, the success rate isn't great, but we still try. But we have learned that purpose-bred dogs that are bred for the purpose of being service dogs, we have a pretty good success rate with them. And so that all happens out at our whelping facility. We call it our Whelping and Growth Center, our WAG Center out in New Germany. And we actually just had, I believe yesterday, we had a litter born of 3, small litter. And in the coming days, we're going to have a much larger litter born out there. So there's lots of excitement at the WAG Center right now.
Wow. It's like the birthing center at the fair.
It is. And it's adorable.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wow. Is it... So I wonder, is it hard to get volunteers to be a part of something? Because I know people I met so many people that just have such a love affair with dogs.
It's not hard, but we never have enough and we never will. And
yeah,
you know, The nice thing about volunteering with us, I mean, there are lots of ways to volunteer. You don't have to raise a dog, so that you could volunteer at events for us or come in and walk dogs or something like that. But our greatest need are people who will take a dog into their home and raise them. And it could be for 2 or 3 days. It could be for 2.5 years, and anything in between there. And
Wow.
it's I mean, you get the benefit of an amazing dog. And what I hear from people all the time, though, is I could never do it because I wouldn't be able to give the dog back, right? They become a part of your
right, right. Well, it's a
family.
puppy dog
Yeah.
deal. Yeah, right.
And we talk to our existing volunteers who do that over and over and over again. They say, yeah, turn-in day is horrible.
Oh,
And then we want another dog immediately because we get to go to the graduation and see what we did and see how we changed a person's life and spend time with that person and say, we were part of that and we want another dog.
oh, and the person being a client then, right?
Correct. Yeah, the graduates, they come to our we have a graduation ceremony where
Oh,
the dogs are
interesting.
handed off like the diploma would be.
Right.
And the volunteers that raise that dog are there and get to spend time one-on-one with the client and the dog. And so it's hard. We know it's hard. And
Oh.
we try to make it less hard, but it's hard. But our volunteers say they just keep coming back because they say this is such a meaningful experience. These dogs are so amazing. And we do make it easy. I mean, we provide all the food, we provide all the medication, we provide training. And that's our greatest need is volunteers.
So you provide training to the
the
foster
volunteers.
parents or the,
Yes.
the volunteers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they become a bit of a community, the
Oh,
volunteers.
sure.
We call them packs. So they're geographically based. If you live in Lakeville, for example,
Right,
there's a
right.
pack down there. And so our volunteers down there get together and do things together with the
Oh.
dogs. And it's a really cool volunteer experience. And we are always looking for more.
Wow. Wow. It just blows my mind though. Just that yeah, you breed the dogs. So I guess just so I'm understanding, walk me through the life cycle
Sure.
of a dog that is at the WAG Center.
Yep.
What does their life look like? I guess from the time they're born.
So the first 5 weeks here, so they are born at the WAG Center.
Yeah.
And obviously spend a lot of time with mom, but also away from mom. We have staff and volunteers out there, and within probably the first 3 or 4 days, they have a very specific set of tactile things that they work on with these puppies so that they can get used to, for example, having their nails trimmed, having their ears
Oh.
checked. They get little baby onesies, so they immediately get used to having a vest or a cape
Oh,
on, which a service
sure.
dog will do. And obviously they get tons of attention and learn. And then at 5 weeks, all of those dogs will go into one of our prisons. We have 9 prison partners in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And one of those prisons is a weaning prison. And so the mom and the puppies go to that prison. And then over 5 weeks, the puppies are weaned from the mom by our inmate handlers who are very specifically chosen for that program. And then at 10 weeks, they move out of the prison and the mom is separated at that point. And then they go into someone's home for 6 to 10 weeks as a little puppy. And that's our toughest volunteer ask because those puppies aren't potty trained
Right.
yet. And, they stay up at night and chew on things, but some people love to do it. And then after that, then the next 2 to 2.5 years, those dogs will all spend some time in prison being trained, usually 6 to 8 months, and then the rest of their time in volunteer homes.
Okay.
And then at about 2.5, they come back to our facility in New Hope, and they spend several months there then training with our professional trainers who are now, we call it finishing training, where they're figuring out what is this dog good at and what does this dog absolutely love to do. And then they're paired with a client, and then they're trained with the client. And then we support the team for the life of the team.
Okay. So I have so many questions here. It's going to take like 2 shows. So at 2.5 years is when they come back and are ready to
Correct.
be
And-
the finishing training.
Yep. And we call that college, essentially. They are coming in now to figure out what is it that they want to do with their lives.
Right. Wow. Could humans use that?
You're right.
I mean, really, what are you good at? And what do you enjoy doing?
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I can see, that so many colleges, even high schools now, try to test to see, what track you want to follow.
Yeah.
But as you and I talked before the show, how many times I have talked to people on this show over 7 years that in the middle of their career at midlife, they completely do a 180
Yeah.
and go different. So how do you even know?
Right.
I mean, oh, that's just so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of all the questions that I'm going to get text on here after the show is done. That's what happens a lot of times. Okay, how did the prison fit into this whole training process for these amazing dogs?
Yeah, the prison program is so amazing because number one, it provides volunteers for us. Obviously,
Right.
these people aren't volunteering to be in prison, but they're volunteering to be in the program, and they're amazing trainers because they don't have a lot else to focus on.
That's true.
Whereas where the dog is in a busy family home, the greatest benefit of that is that the dog is being socialized. So we want those people to bring the dog to Target and to worship and to the doctor's
Oh,
office
yeah.
and to the soccer game. They don't get any of that in prison, but they get very intensive training from guys and gals. We have one female prison who are very, very dedicated to the program. And it's a benefit to us, but we hear from the inmate handlers and the prison employees what a great benefit it is to the prison because dogs change people and they
Right.
change the atmosphere. I hear from these inmate handlers, most of them have done some pretty bad things because we need people who are going to be in prison for a while. These aren't people who are there
Oh.
for a month or two.
Right.
They're there for longer. And just over and over again, we hear, this is the only chance I have at redemption for what I did, or I've never been loved by a living being before until this, or I've never loved a living being before until
Right.
this. And it is such a cool program, and it's such a key piece for the success of our organization.
And that was started about 10 years ago, you said?
Yeah, maybe 15.
15.
And we've
okay.
slowly added prisons. We started with one. I think Faribault was our first prison.
Yeah.
We're now up to 9. We're going to add our 10th prison in Wisconsin in the next few months, and probably our 11th in Minnesota before the end of the year. At least we hope so.
Wow. Okay. So you guys have been around since 1989. Okay, so that's like a 35-year.
Yep. Yeah, we're in our 36th year now.
36 year. Wow. And how did that idea come up? Saying, I mean, I'm always curious about how the strategy of a company or an organization develops, and so many times
Yeah.
it's as we talked before too. It's the mother of invention is necessity.
Yeah.
And you just try to figure out where can I get help here. But what a great partnership
Yeah.
though with the prison system and prisoners to give them some real meaningful. I mean, they're going to change a person's life.
Yes. Well, we also hear with the prison program, what does this program teach you? It teaches you patience. It teaches you positive reinforcement and never yelling or hitting.
All right.
And it teaches you perseverance, not giving up when the dog just isn't doing what you want it to do, and teamwork, because all of our inmate handlers have to work as a team of 2 with the dog. And those are all life skills that are really important to succeed, and that a lot of prisoners probably didn't get growing up.
Right.
And so we have many success stories of our inmate handlers leaving prison and being successful because of not raising dogs necessarily, but because of the life skills they learned from the program.
Right. Wow. That just is so amazing.
It's really cool.
I mean, you're helping people all along the way on the dog's life cycle, life story, life journey. That is just amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And you asked about the foundation of the organization. So Al Peters was our founder. I'm the second leader of the organization. Al was with us for almost 30 years, or maybe more than 30 years. And here's an example of what you were just talking about. He really wasn't satisfied with his life as a professional. I don't remember what he was doing, but it was some professional job, and read somewhere about how dogs could be taught to be the ears for someone who is deaf. And he decided to do massive research on that. This was pre-internet, so he had to go to the library and look all this up, and decided he wanted to try it. And he rescued a dog and taught the dog to be a hearing dog. And we became an organization and had our first client in 1989.
Wow. And he's retired.
He's retired and happily retired, and
happily
still
retired.
very helpful to the organization.
Yeah.
I talk to him frequently about things. And that was the foundation was hearing, I believe it was called Hearing Dogs of Minnesota.
Oh.
And so it was just hearing dogs. And then over the years, we've expanded to those 5 other areas.
So the expansion, did that come from potential clients or families saying, hey, could you have a dog do this for us? Or how did you guys determine? Because I want to talk about the different types of dog services you guys have.
Yeah, all of the expansion, except for facility dogs, happened before me. So I don't really know
Oh,
the whole story. I
okay.
know facility dogs, which we just added a year ago, it just became obvious to us the need for that and the interest in that. And we would get lots of inquiries about it and always tell people we don't do that. And there's a point where we came, why don't we do
Why
that?
don't we do
And my
that?
guess
Right.
is it was probably similar for all of the
For all
other
the other
earlier
ones.
expansions of,
Yeah.
you know, you can do diabetes dogs, and we keep telling people no, but the need is there. Let's try it.
Right. Well, let's, gosh, there's just so many questions I have here. But so I want to get back to the diabetes. That's fascinating. I do want to go through, well, maybe we do this. Let's just take a little survey of the different types of services that dogs
Sure.
can provide. Because we only got about a minute and a half left in this
Okay.
segment. Would you just kind of let us know what different
Sure. So
type of dogs?
yeah, mobility assist dogs are our most common placement, and
Okay.
that's anybody who has a mobility issue, whether they're in a wheelchair, very serious issues, or maybe less obvious issues. They might have serious balance issues. We were
Oh,
talking about a client with Parkinson's.
Right.
That happens a lot. Our autism assist dogs are for children with autism, and they're magic. I mean, the stories that we have about what those dogs do is amazing. Seizure assist dogs, so we talked about that a little bit. They
Yeah.
really help people stay safe and get out of their seizure more quickly. Diabetes assist dog are for type 1 diabetes. They sense from the smell of someone's breath that they're having a low and can alert them before it's too late. And hearing assist dogs are for people who are deaf or very hard of hearing, and they are essentially they alert the person to those things that you and I take for granted every day, like a doorbell or a phone ringing, or maybe I dropped something and didn't hear it, or something more serious like a fire alarm.
right.
And then facility dogs will replace in children's hospitals and other places to serve lots of people as opposed to just one client.
Right. Right. Well, it just seems like there's different either personalities or traits or training that would go into each one of those. I mean, those are very
Yeah.
unique.
And that is
areas.
part of when we talk about that finishing training or college, that is what our professional
Oh.
trainers are looking for. What is unique about this dog, and what do they love to do?
Wow. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to talk about here. All right, folks, it's time for a short break. We are going to continue our conversation with Jeff Johnson, Executive Director at Can Do Canines. And he is here sharing fascinating information about how assistance dogs transform people's lives. Can Do Canines has done this since 1989 and has provided more than 900 assistance dogs to people with disabilities, all free of charge. If you have a question for Jeff, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Introducing a new day of the week. Someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Mavericks Real Roast Beef. Mavericks has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Mavericks Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hi, this is Laura. Listen to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. or anytime via podcast. Our individual health is connected to the health of each other and connected to the health of the earth. We know the problems with the dominant food system: climate change, deadening soils, nitrates in the water, factory farming, injustice, concentration of wealth.
How do we both as individuals and as a community step up and support a living food system which honors the earth? Tune to Food Freedom Radio every Saturday at 8 a.m. and remember to support your independent farmers.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
From the AM 950 Weather Center, I'm Tom Weston. Today, a sunny day with a high of 35 degrees, and for tonight, cloudy with a low of 22. Cafe Latte, providing a cafe dining experience with delicious gourmet quality food. Cafe Latte believes that ingredients matter, so that's why they never use artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. Cafe Latte, Victoria and Brand. Make your reservation or place a takeout order at cafelatte.com.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Saturday.
Welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your hopefully highest quality of life. My name is Ken Haglund, and joining me today is Jeff Johnson, Executive Director at Can Do Canines, and he is here just absolutely blowing my mind about the amazing effects that these trained dogs have on people's lives. And he is sharing how assistance dogs can really make a difference in people's lives. Since 1989, Can Do Canines has provided more than 900 assistance dogs to people with disabilities. And all of these dogs have been trained and provided free of charge. And we're going to talk about that this segment because it just is amazing to me. But before we turn back to our conversation with Jeff Johnson, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with comprehensive end-of-life health care. The team at Minnesota Hospice provides patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life health care services. You may not be aware that hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services to your home with typically no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to learn how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or simply visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's return to our conversation with Jeff Johnson. It's just a fascinating conversation with Jeff Johnson. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. Jeff, how can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
CanDoCanines.org. It'll have everything you need, a way to contact us, also a way to apply to be a volunteer or a client or get involved in some other way.
Well, let's talk, boy. Well, I want to address this free of charge thing because
yeah,
I am so fortunate, so grateful to be in a healthcare practice and a profession that it's not a access issue in terms of financial ability or cost. If you're on Medicare, if you've had a paycheck, you've paid into Medicare, and it's a statutory benefit that if you qualify for end-of-life health care, hospice care, then it's no cost to you. You've already prepaid that throughout your working years. And of course, there's other ways in which to get that paid, sometimes through private insurance. Most private insurance pretty much reflects what the Medicare benefit is. So generally we don't have to worry about them paying for the care, which is great. We hate to have people die without having professional health care for that transition. But here you are providing a service, really a lifetime service, and there's no charge to your clients. You got to tell me, how do you manage that?
Generous people is what it comes down to. Yeah. Wow. I mean, we estimate it costs about $45,000 to raise and train each of the dogs. But say for that $50 application fee, we give them away free of charge. Most of our clients couldn't even come close to paying a portion of that.
Yeah.
Even. We rely upon individuals and businesses and foundations to fund us. We don't seek government money for our to operate. And people are generous. People in Minnesota and Wisconsin, we serve Minnesota and Wisconsin, are just very generous.
Don't we have the best people in the
country? We really do. And
amazing.
Very, just very giving. And, it's nice because we have a kind of a unique story to tell too. When I'm fundraising, you get to throw in dogs, you have people with disabilities, you get the prison program. So fundraising is actually kind of fun,
right?
Because I get to tell this story, but people have been amazing.
Yeah. Wow, that's just great. Let's remind people that you do have an open house.
Yes.
Coming up here really soon.
Yep. March 10th? March
8th.
March 8th. Thank you.
Saturday, March 8th.
You know better than I do. 2 weeks from today, March 8th at our facility.
That's my job.
That's right. Our facility in New Hope from noon to 2. Just a great way to learn about us very casually. You can walk around and talk to people. There are demonstrations with the dogs and you get to see our facility. So if anyone's interested, whether it's as a potential client, a volunteer, maybe you're just curious or would like to support us in some way, stop by for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it looks like you do have several throughout the year.
We do them quarterly.
Okay, yep. Saturday, March 8th, and then Saturday, May 17th, Tuesday, the August 19th, and then Saturday, November 8th. And they're all noon to 2.
Yes.
Perfect time. I'm sure people will be listening to our show here while they're going to the open house, since we're on from noon to 1. But that's great. And like I say, it's very casual. It's not like you're herded into a room and you have to sit there and listen to someone for an hour.
Nope. The only presentations are the ones you choose to go to, and they include dogs. So what more could you ask? And they last like 10 minutes.
Right. No, but I'm looking at the photos here, and just a beautiful location you've got, bright colors. And
so we are actually just launched a capital campaign 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
We are going to more than double the size of our facility. We want to serve more people. And we can't serve more people in our current facility, and we know the need is there. And so that's part of the adventure for the next year or two, is to raise the money and then expand our facility.
Okay, great. Yep. So you're located at 9440 Science Center Drive in New Hope, Minnesota.
And that's right off of 169.
Okay.
You can see us from 169.
Oh, nice. Okay, great. And how long have you been at that location?
15 years, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's 14 or 15 years. And our founder had the foresight to buy a property that was much bigger than what we needed.
Right.
So we have the room to expand. We're using about 1 out of the 4 acres, and we're going to start using about 3 out of the 4 acres. So.
Wow. Well, I just, your program just touches on so many aspects of community support and, care for each other. And I'm just so glad you took the time to be on our show.
Yeah,
today, because I'm learning just a fascinating amount of information here. And as I was telling you, I'm finding more and more in our hospice program how important dogs are in our program. Our nurses bring along their dogs that are trained, and the patients and the communities just love it when they bring their dog along.
Yeah, dogs just change an atmosphere in a place. We hear that about the prisons, where, the prisons that have a dog program, they have a specific wing that is for the dog program. So you don't live on that wing unless you're part of the program, and it's not easy to get into the
I
program
bet.
because you have to work hard. They work really hard for us, but we hear all the time from the wardens that, well, that's the one wing where we know there's never going to be a fight. There are fights in all the other wings every day. There will not be a fight in the dog wing because number one, the dogs kind of change your behavior, but also these guys and gals are so dedicated to those dogs, they wouldn't want to put them in danger
Or
of causing
jeopardy,
a
or
fight.
yeah.
So
Wow.
it's they change things.
Yeah.
Dogs are magic.
And you wouldn't want to lose that benefit of being
Right.
in
You
prison
don't want to get
trainer.
kicked out.
Yeah, get
Yep.
kicked out of the program.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. So where do you see the future here? I know we're kind of getting up against the clock a little bit here for the end of the show. I know you need volunteers, and again, I'm just amazed you work off of donations solely. That's amazing to me, because that's a lot of work. I've talked to people that have not for, and you're a not-for-profit then?
Correct.
Or, okay.
Yep.
So are you a 501(c)(3)
Yep.
then? Okay, so donations are tax deductible?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in helping that way, you can go to the website for that as well. You can donate right at candocanines.org.
Okay.
We actually have our annual Fetching Ball Gala tonight.
Oh.
So that is our big event. It's too late to get tickets for it, but it's that's our biggest fundraising event. But we have others, and we have about a $3.5 million budget. And again, people are amazing. We need to continue that and grow that if we want to be where we want to be in 10 years. So we have a 10-year goal, which is now a 9-year goal, because we created it last year, of increasing the number of teams that we graduate by about 40% over the next 9 years. And in order to do that, number one, we have to raise $10 million for our capital campaign and expand our building,
right,
recruit more volunteers, and raise the money to add staff. And so that when you ask, what's in the future is probably not an expansion of programs. It's just serving more of the people who need our help. And we know there are tens of thousands in Minnesota who could benefit from a dog who probably don't even know about us yet.
Right. Oh, listen, I've been doing this for 7 years, trying to match up needs with solutions in our communities. And the reason I started this thing 7 years ago is that in hospice, I was surprised how little people knew about services or resources, or even, well, what's hospice? I mean, I misunderstood what hospice was.
Yeah.
That's why I was fascinated by it. But so I thought, when this opportunity came up to have our own radio show, I thought, oh, what a great way to highlight services that so many people just have no idea. I mean, if you look at even like social workers, they have these books that are 1,000 pages of all the services available to people in Minnesota. I mean, I think a lot of things just go by the wayside because people they don't know where to turn. I mean, here we are in the information age, right?
Right.
And like you say, your founder went to the library and did some research on how dogs can help people that are deaf or hard of hearing. And
it might be that there's too much information. Nobody can wade through it anymore.
No, it's amazing to me because we have at Minnesota Hospice an amazing staff of social workers, just people that are angels from heaven, and they have so much information, and we just wish people would know even what questions to even ask.
Right.
It's tough. So I mean, I could just see you guys would have an unlimited demand for these dogs and these services.
And we actually did an analysis a couple of years ago of, okay, let's just take the most common disabilities that we serve and look at how many people suffer from those disabilities in Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Right.
And I think we came up with a number that if we served 1,000th of 1% of them, it would be about 10 times the number we're serving right now. So, but what we hear more often than anything else from a potential client with maybe a mobility issue is, well, I'm not disabled enough. Someone else needs that dog more than I do.
They're so unselfish.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
And our response to that is, let us help you decide that, because we know how a dog could change your life. So talk to us about it, and we'll help decide whether you are disabled enough or not.
Right. Well, I had the state demographer's office on years ago, and they said that there's over 600,000 Minnesotans caring for other Minnesotans they're unpaid. This is outside of the home care world and the hospital, all these different worlds that are professional worlds. But literally over a tenth, one in 10 Minnesotans are caring for people with disabilities, or they're elderly, or they have limitations. So I know for a fact that your market is just massive.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And so we want to serve a few more people. We're going from, maybe 50 a year to 70 a year.
Wow.
But one dog that we place doesn't just change one life. It changes an entire family, sometimes a small community. And we want to do a little more of that if we can.
Oh, boy, God bless you. I'm hoping that people can respond. Attend you got your big event tonight here that's already been in the books, but I mean, open houses and going on your website. It's candocanines.org, and check it out, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. When we have events all year long. We've got another event in May, which is going to focus on the prison program. We do a dog walk called our Woofaroo every September, which is just a big carnival, but also a fundraiser for us. So take a look. We'd love your help.
Well, we'd have to have you back on the show and talk more about some of these events coming up here. That would be great. All right, folks. It is the end of the show already. I'm just, what a fantastic guest here. Jeff Johnson, Executive Director at Can Do Canines. Thank you for being here to share how assistance dogs are transforming people's lives. This has been great. One more, how do people find you if they have questions or want more information, Jeff?
CanDoCanines.org.
All right. We hope you enjoyed today's show, folks. Please contact us with any questions or comments you have regarding today's conversation. You can reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Join us again next Saturday at noon for another broadcast, and thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. Until next time, please choose to live well.
You may not think of it, but winter is a great time to take care of those exterior home projects. This is Chad, owner of AM 950 for Snap Construction. Most people wait until the warmer months for their exterior home projects, but labor costs are actually lowest in the winter. And that's true for the contractor I trust, Snap Construction. Arguably the most well-reviewed exterior contractor and insulation contractor in the metro. Are you noticing ice dams on your house? Or is your furnace constantly running and you're still not comfortable? In addition to your exterior home projects, winter is also a great time to get your insulation checked with a free energy audit from Snap Construction. The average cost to upgrade your insulation is oftentimes less than a new furnace. Plus, there are rebates available